Prey is in theaters now. I have a spoiler-free review you can check out. This is going to be a spoiler review for Birds of Prey, although I feel as if there's not really that much to spoil with Birds of Prey. The reason I'm doing this is because I really want to dive deeper to some thoughts and an analysis in some things that I really couldn't say in my spoiler-free review because I left that kind of vague. I want to expand on some thoughts that I had on the movie more, and I feel like I can do that with a spoiler review. I also think that with every major blockbuster that comes out, there should be an accompanying spoiler video. As long as I feel like I want to talk about it, as long as I like the movie, I will talk about these blockbusters. Or if it's a huge franchise I'm a fan of, like, I'm definitely going to do No Time to Die and then a No Time to Die spoiler review, no matter if I like the movie or not. So that's kind of why I'm doing a spoiler review for Birds of Prey, because I really did overall enjoy Birds of Prey. It's a blockbuster, it's a comic book movie. I do believe it deserves a spoiler review, and I want to talk about some things I wasn't able to talk about. I'm just really kind of going to talk about some of the stuff that I didn't like, mostly in this review, and try and springboard that onto a lot of the things I did like. Some of the things I didn't like in Birds of Prey, as I mentioned, I felt that the script was a bit thin and lacked some depth. It also had some pacing issues. When it comes to how thin that script is, it's a very thin plot, and you get very thin characterization. The characters of Black Canary and Renee Montoya aren't really all fleshed out all that much. Black Canary is a singer in Roman Sionis' club, and when his driver goes down for the count, thanks to Harley Quinn, she is asked to be his driver. So that's really all we get with Black Canary. Renee Montoya has been trying to take down Roman Sionis for a while, along with trying to take down Harley Quinn in the movie as well. And that's really all we get of her. We know that she's been a detective for so many years. The one that's fleshed out the most, I think, is Huntress. Huntress was a badass. Huntress isn't in the movie all that much. She's in it the least out of those three. But when she's on screen, she's amazing. I love that she actually does have minimal dialogue. It was something that bothered me when I watched it, but at the same time, I understand why she has that minimal dialogue. And she's got some of the best dialogue in the entire movie. I love her backstory, though. It is presented through exposition and that source of the unreliable narrator at times. That unreliable narrator being Harley Quinn. But Huntress's backstory, Huntress is the one next to Harley that is fleshed out the most. I love her backstory. The fact that she was a family member of this wealthy family. And Roman Sionis' goons take out that family. They murder that entire family. She was the sole survivor of that family. One of those people that killed her family being Roman Sionis' henchman, Victor Zas, which is really interesting. And then her going to Italy to train to become an assassin, and now she's known as the crossbow killer. That was a great running joke throughout the movie. So she's definitely got the most backstory. I love how Roman Sionis is actually trying to gain her family's wealth. She actually has a reason to want to try and kill him. It makes a lot of sense in that regard. Everybody else aside from Harley Quinn is just cookie cutter characters. Cassandra Cain, I wasn't a huge fan of. I actually did not mention this in my spoiler-free review, but I wasn't a huge fan of the whole Cassandra Cain plotline. Basically, the whole plot of this movie involves Roman Sionis trying to retrieve this diamond from this kid who is actually a thief named Cassandra Cain. She steals Roman Sionis' diamond, which has like a bank account code in it to Huntress' family's wealth. I forget the name of the family, so that's why I'm saying Huntress' family. That's kind of what struck me as what was wrong with Roman Sionis / Black Mask in this film. That's why I really didn't resonate with him. I'm not asking for the villain to be some gargantuan purple titan like Thanos and be that menacing. When I said he wasn't menacing enough in my spoiler-free review, I kind of meant more as if I didn't really latch on to his whole scheme. I just thought that this whole plot was paper thin, done so many times before, and I just really thought that there could have been something bigger he was after. Not necessarily, oh, I want superpowers. It doesn't have to be anything related to that. I just thought it should have been something a little bit more meaningful or bigger, you know, like he's already a crime boss. He's the owner of this club. I mean, what else do we really know about Roman Sionis in this movie? That's really it. And then him trying to get this diamond, and then enlisting Harley Quinn to get this diamond, and if she doesn't get this diamond, then he's gonna kill her. It just felt very paper thin to me, but at the same time, it did feel a bit fresh. That's why I kind of give movies like this a pass. If they have paper thin characters and paper thin plots, but the entertainment value is high, as it is with this movie, and the other aspects of filmmaking are present and are done in an adequate to very good job, which I felt, especially with the action scenes, with how Kathy Gann directs these action scenes. I'll get into one of those in a minute. I can let a couple things like some thin characters or a thin plot slide, even though those are probably the two major components that I look at when evaluating a movie, but all the rest of the content in this movie, I was really just latching onto. A lot of dark humor in here. I love when Harley's in GCPD. She inhales like the pound of cocaine. It's hilarious, and it leads to a great action scene in GCPD. That got me a little bit worried because they do the Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder 300 slow-mo bullshit for a couple of times. That's what really got me worried, but as this scene goes on, it is awesome, and they got some kick-ass songs in this soundtrack as well. But let's go back to Cassandra Cain for a minute, because this kid just ruins the pacing of this movie. This movie's only an hour and 49 minutes. Every scene with her and Harley and just hanging out, I thought, brought this movie to a screeching halt. I really did not care about this kid. It reminded me of some other movies, and again, I said this in my spoiler-free review. We shouldn't be comparing movies to other movies. I'm guilty of it, and I'm going to be guilty of it right now, because it almost feels like, to me, it felt like Looper, where we're focusing on one thing for the first half of the movie, and then in comes this kid, and oh, it's the focus for the second half of the movie. That's kind of how I felt with this. I love the third act. The third act is great. Harley is trying to protect Cassandra Cain. She enlists Black Canary, Renee Montoya, and Huntress to help her take down Roman Sionis' goons. That's a great action sequence, and that's really the first time that these characters team up, because up to that point in the movie, it's really more so or less a Harley Quinn movie. And I actually kind of dug that. Going along, I was like, you know what, where are the birds of prey? Like, this movie's called Birds of Prey, but at the same time, it's called In the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. So after a while, I thought to myself, this is definitely more of a Harley Quinn movie than it is a Birds of Prey movie. This is really how the Birds of Prey come together, and I thought that they did that in a very adequate way. Although everybody just kind of goes along with Harley when she's like, we gotta work together.
We're gonna have to work together. Sure.
Like, everybody's just like, okay, let's do it. Let's just take out these people. And nobody really questions, like, why they should be working with Harley. That's kind of a nitpick, but it leads into a great action scene. I love watching these four kick ass and just kick the shit out of Roman Sionis' goons. Roman Sionis eventually gets his hands on Cassandra. It leads to Harley chasing him down a dock. This scene kind of felt like a video game sequence to me. It didn't really sit well, because it was like I was playing as Harley in the third person, and I just kept walking forward, and then all of a sudden Roman Sionis would just pop out of the shadows and move behind something. So it was almost like a video game-esque type of sequence, but I love the way Roman Sionis dies. He's got Cassandra to gunpoint by the head, and she actually shows Harley that she pulled the pin on a grenade and stuck it in him, and he just blows to smithereens. It's great. Where we see the truck drive into Ace Chemicals, and Ace Chemicals blows up. Because in the trailer, Harley's like, I broke it off with the Joker. So I was like, oh, that scene's like, oh, she's like killing the Joker in that scene. Like, the Joker is in that truck, and she like jumped out of the truck so that like the truck would go into Ace Chemicals and blow it up, and blow up Ace Chemicals and blow up the Joker and kill the Joker, which I would be totally fine with, because Jared Leto's Joker sucks. So, like, no more Joker. The Joker is not in this movie. If that happened, I wouldn't expect to see the Joker. I would expect that to be, like, implied. And that's what I thought the trailer was doing, but that's actually not what that scene is. It's more of her just grieving with the loss of the Joker, and she sends that truck hurtling towards Ace Chemicals as a way to destroy her sentimentality to that place in relation to the Joker. That was a really clever and unique trick. I really love that scene. That might be one of my favorite sequences in the entire movie. There's a lot to like about Birds of Prey, despite paper-thin characters and paper-thin plotting. It's a lot of fun. The action scenes are really, really well done. That Gotham City Police Department one is great, and the one at the end is awesome, because that's when all the birds of prey get like all their weapons and they're left to their own devices. I love when characters like that are just left to their own devices and have to really improvise to take down the henchman and the main villain. That's what I loved about it. I had a shit ton of fun with Birds of Prey. I hope you guys go and see it. It's not a movie that I loved, but I liked it a lot, and it's one of the better movies to come out this year. So I asked this in my last video, if you guys have seen Birds of Prey. Woo. Let me ask you this. What is your favorite movie team-up of all time? Could be the Avengers, could be the Guardians of the Galaxy, could be the Suicide Squad, could be the Birds of Prey. Let me know in the comments section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. There you will find all my links to my social media accounts. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more reviews and more James Bond reviews coming very soon. Having a lot of fun reviewing those movies before No Time to Die. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.